Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
We start with that breaking news. 2 people are in the hospital this morning after a bad crash in western Douglas County. This all happened near 264th and Dodge. This is a look at the scene. Authorities say the victims suffered serious injuries. Now, so far, we have not heard anything regarding a potential cause for this, but stay with First Alert 6 as we work to learn more about this breaking news. In the meantime, it's good to have you with us as we start this First Alert 6 streaming. I'm Erin Hartley, of course, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and the senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord. Going to be another warm forecast on the way, but this time it's that good old annoying wind.
The good news, it takes the humidity away. The bad news, it's really windy today. So that's what goes with it. It's been a while since we've had it, but I tell you what, you're going to notice it today, and it's easily going to be the story. You got some southwest wind sustained at about 18 miles per hour right now. You can see the camera shaking a little bit. We're at 70 degrees at the moment, and well, the muggy meter, it's in the muggy range. We were up a few degrees last hour. Now we're down to 62. Still feel the humidity in the air, but that will drop off as the day goes along. We're 70 in Omaha, but 65 in Millard, 66 in Elkhorn, and 61 in Fremont as of right now. So some cooler air trying to move in, but it's also going to be warming now that the sun has risen, and we will start to see that warmer air take over and the sunlight heat it up a little bit as it moves in. But there's 50s to the west, so a little cooler there as the cooler, less humid, but windy air starts to move in. Notice the gusts, 25 to 35 miles per hour out of the west-southwest right now. Those will only pick up as the day goes along. They'll gust 40 to 45, no problem. I think we could have some 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts today. Do not be surprised by that later on at any point in the afternoon. So the muggy meter, while it's on the low end of the muggy range right now, doing a pretty good job, will dip over the next several hours as the drier air moves in. So we got a much more comfortable day on the way in that regard, which is great news. The storm system that brought us at least the potential for some storms is off to the north. You can see this severe thunderstorm watch box likely allowed to expire here pretty shortly. And that storm system overall stays to our north, and we're just going to get the windy weather on the back side of it. There's the potential for any rain off to the northwest. By noon, we're up into the 70s again. Should have 70s most of the afternoon. I do believe even with the west wind and the cooler air coming in, we can still spike a little bit, and because the dew points are dropping off, the drier air can warm a little easier. 82 in the cards for a high this afternoon. By 7, we're starting to fall back, and you'll notice a pretty quiet night on the way heading into early tomorrow morning, where we could have a few sprinkles from these thicker clouds to start off Friday, and we'll start off in the 50s by tomorrow morning and go from there. Next 3 days show us some cooler air settling in. Notice by Saturday, 71 for the high. So it does cool off heading into the weekend, but still very, very comfortable for the upcoming weekend.
Okay, but we want to know, is the wind going to continue to stick around into next week too?
Oh, I tell you what. So we got today. It does look like tomorrow, and we're probably going to be dealing with it early next week too. So that nice calm stretch that we had, I think, has gone by the wayside. Notice Friday, put the windy icon on there. Let's get a look at those Friday wind gusts, because those are going to be noteworthy as we go through the course of the day on Friday. What we'll likely see here is a pretty calm morning. You'll notice this is 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Some gusts near 20 miles per hour. I don't think they're going to be all that bad. As we go towards 7 o'clock, though, starting to see those pick up in parts of the area, and then progressing farther and farther through the day. By noon, we're talking gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour in quite a few spots. And then into the afternoon, what we'll likely see is 45 to 55 mile per hour gusts on Friday. That will be the strongest in the afternoon and out of the west to northwest, and trying to cool us off a little bit, and may actually bring a few little sprinkles and brief light shower to the area, and those might be tough to get rid of as we go into the evening and overnight hours as well. So we'll watch for that. And then a little longer range, the potential for some rain and storms. This system could bring some wind with it as it brings rain chances Monday and into Tuesday. There's a lot going on early next week as well. So a busy weather pattern taking shape. We've been talking about it. Once we got to that Wednesday, Thursday time frame, we knew it would get busier, and it looks like even into Wednesday of next week, there may be some lingering rain. So pay attention to the forecast over the next 10 days. 71 Saturday, 78 on Sunday. If there's a first alert day lurking anywhere, we're looking at maybe Monday, possibly some early and late storms that could be a little bit stronger. So that's what we'll be watching here as we head into early next week. But a lot of windies on there. Half the 10-day forecast likely deals with some wind, and hopefully we can get some rain out of it too.
At least the weekend's nice, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, that lines up well.
I'll take a windy day for a nice Saturday.
Without a doubt.
That's okay. Okay, Rusty, thanks. In the meantime, it's going to update on traffic. Construction seeming to have an impact once again.
Yeah, and the problem we have this morning, too, in addition to having that construction, we've stalled a vehicle in the construction zone. So now you have another domino to fall to make for some problems. So I-80 travel is really not having a good time as you're making your way westbound, approaching 144th. So it's right in this area where we've had this. There you can see the flashing lights there on the right-hand side. So the right lane is blocked as you're heading on westbound I-80, approaching 144th. And you can see it's a very busy picture here in the foreground with all the traffic that's trying to get over out ahead of that. So of course, with that being the case, you've got all sorts of delays in the lead up to that as you're heading westbound. Eastbound, you even have a delay that's in place on already as you're trying to get into that zone. That's the combination of having the construction zone entry where you have to merge. You have increased traffic off of 144th because remember that ramp from northbound Giles to go to eastbound I-80 is closed. So there's more traffic anyway that's using 144th. And you have people who are going eastbound and see all those flashing lights that are going on in the westbound. So there's a lot that's going on is kind of the takeaway, and there's a lot of slow traffic heading through here. So whether you're going eastbound, westbound, use some caution, be prepared for some delays as you're making your way through this construction zone today. We go a little bit further up the road, you can see those delays do stretch all the way to L as you're making your way westbound. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see these even get a little bit bigger in how far those delays stretch. So if you're going to be traveling near the 680 and 80 interchange, don't be caught off guard if you do come across traffic that quickly slows as they try to make their way toward that area further down the road. So that's the bad news. The good news is a lot of the rest of the metro seems like it's moving in pretty good shape. We've got a couple of zones where it's getting busy, of course, on Dodge, on Maple, where we tend to have a lot of traffic, but we don't really have any big backups showing up anywhere else except for maybe 204th. That's another construction zone where you're looking at things northbound, just north of Harrison, seeing some delays. But as far as the big issues this morning, it is all about that I-80. And of course, when we see that vehicle get pulled away and that lane open back up, we'll first alert you to that.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Jared, thank you. In the meantime, a bill addressing transgender athletes has advanced at the unicameral. Lawmakers killed the part of the bill that requires trans individuals to use bathrooms that align with their biological sex in schools and state agencies. Now it solely focuses on restricting trans athletes from partaking in sports that align with their gender identity.
Kind of an unusual opportunity here to have crafted a bill that addresses the primary concerns of both those who support doing something in this area of the law and those who would prefer that nothing or not as much be done.
So if in fact your goal is to ensure the placement of individuals in women's sports, I would argue to you, as I believe any court would, that that is not a good enough reason to literally legislate discrimination.
And in support of human rights.
There is one more round of debate. Now to our safety desk with Maria Cade. Maria, some of us may be guilty of spending too much time at work after. We have all been there, especially here, yes. Right? We're finishing up projects. We got to get work done. But there's a new study about this.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. They're finding that working those long hours could actually be changing the particles in the makeup of our brains. So the scientists in this study, they studied 110 healthcare workers. They were split into two different groups, overworked and not overworked. The scientists used a neuroimaging technique to analyze those people's brain volume, and they say the overworked group, they worked 52 hours or more every single week, and those people had significant changes in their function and their emotions compared to the group that did not work as long. Now, the researchers think that this could suggest a biological basis for any challenges that people who are overworked say that they have. Maybe if they're tired or they can't focus, this could be why.
So essentially they're saying, have some limits.
Yes, it's always important.
Okay, all right, I'll remember that. Marie Kay, thank you. We're back after this. All right, welcome back. Time now, 7:13 as we begin this Thursday morning. Taking a live look outside, overlooking the metro area, Midtown, and the downtown areas as well. Going to be another warm forecast for your Thursday, but the wind could make it pesky to enjoy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Temperatures are looking great, but the wind is just going to be flat out annoying. No getting around it, and that's the way it's looking today and tomorrow as well. Let's dive in and talk about what it looks like here and part of the weather headlines. The wind is topping those, gusting near 50 miles per hour today, could hit 55 miles per hour tomorrow. By the weekend, though, that does subside, and it looks like a pretty good weekend with highs in the 70s. Storm potential Monday and Tuesday of next week. Now, I'm going to look at a few more things here once we're done with our streaming newscast. Pay attention to our app and our website later on this morning. There's a possibility of a first alert day in here, just given the way things are starting to line up. Sunday night, you could see some storms that linger into Monday. That could give us a Monday morning round of rain. And then possibly we get more development Monday evening. Either round could have a little strength with it. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. And if there's a first alert day in there, it may end up being Monday. Pretty good potential for some rain heading into Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So hopefully that can be a little bit more widespread for the area and bring some beneficial rain. Short term, though, you can see what we've got going on. Thunderstorm complex to our north and northwest. And it ended up missing us for the most part. There's been some watch boxes up here. A little bit of rain grazed our northwestern counties. Now we're on the backside of this system where it's all about the wind. So we missed out on the rain there. We're talking about the rain that we got early next week trying to move in. There is a small chance on Friday as well, tomorrow, of a couple sprinkles on the Iowa side in the morning, and then maybe a few more dropping in from the northwest into the afternoon. By 3, 4 o'clock, kind of get the leftovers of whatever can hang on as a few more clouds move in. So we'll be tracking that heading into Friday as well with some cooler air trying to trickle in. Otherwise, the wind is going to be the story short term. Gusts 40 to 45 easily today, maybe some isolated 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Tomorrow, I think they could easily get up near 50, maybe even 55. You can see this model gets up near 50 pretty easily. Could be a couple of spots go a little bit stronger. They'd be more reserved for the afternoon hours the way it looks on Friday. And there's the partly cloudy conditions that we'll get Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. And there's those storms late Sunday and into Monday, probably near and after sunset Sunday, and then lingering into Monday morning is the round we'll watch for. And the odds going up a little bit there for some of those, and even into next week, middle of next week as well.
All right, as we start the new week, next week, any more chances of rain that we can expect?
I tell you what, looking more and more promising, I think, for that Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe as well. I mentioned that a little earlier. I wanted to dive into some of the details with that. And notice, we bumped up the odds for some rain lingering on Wednesday now. Overall cooler weather next week, a lot of 60s and 70s. I know the Memorial Weekend forecast is going to be a big one coming up. That we'll have that first on the 10-day for you here in a couple of days. But notice where we're at rain-wise. We're now an inch below average for the season, over an inch and a half below for the month, and over 2 inches below for the year. So we need some rain. And I ran this model out through the end of that storm system next week. Some good signs that some widespread rain could be beneficial for the area through Wednesday of next week. Now, I'm hoping that model's not a little bit too optimistic. This one tends to take some of the heavier stuff and be a little farther east with it. So those are the details that work themselves out as we get a little closer, but at least there's hope for a little bit of rain that could hopefully bring some benefit to the area and hopefully miss out on a good chunk of the severe weather along the way. So we'll be watching for that. Again, Monday through Wednesday of next week brings the best odds for that with the storm system in the middle of the country. So we'll see how it plays out as we get a little closer.
That looks like a promising amount based on those maps.
We'll take whatever we can get at this point.
Okay. In the meantime, let's get an update on traffic. You have an update about 80.
Yeah, this is some good news. We had that vehicle that had stalled in the middle of traffic in that construction zone. We're seeing all kinds of delays that have built up. When you're looking at the camera, well, we've got no flashing lights. That's because that vehicle has been towed away and we have cleared that scene. So that is going to eventually help us out and get some better flow through this area. You can see things moving along pretty well right near 144th. The downside to this is what I've seen when we've had issues around this area over the last couple of weeks is once we have those, we don't really improve a ton from where we start because you already kind of have set things in motion to be backed up. So westbound, as you're right near 144th, you've got all kinds of delays that do stretch back to about L. Eastbound, you also are slow as you're getting around 144th. That's the combination of the construction zone and the traffic coming in off of 144th. But there you can see it's very slow as you get back to about L, and then it does improve. So hopefully we've gotten this addressed quickly enough. Crews were working fast on this, so big hands up to them for that. Hopefully we've gotten this resolved soon enough to where this doesn't end up backing into the 680 interchange, because then that would domino effect onto 80 and 680 leading up to that, and that would cause all sorts of problems. Right now, that is where we have our biggest issues, though. You can see elsewhere, we're getting the first signs of some slowing happening on eastbound Dodge around 168th or so, and it's a little slow on 370 right around 48th, but much of the rest of the metro is moving along pretty well. So if we can keep that in check there on I-80, we'll be in okay shape.
Okay. Jared, thank you. More news now. OPD has confirmed a 4th arrest in a homicide from about a year ago. Police have booked Kapoor Koo for murder. The arrest comes about a week after 3 other suspects in the case appeared in court on related charges. Last May, officers found Kuya Thu shot near 45th and Charles. He later died at the hospital. Documents showed that prosecutors claimed the shooting was a murder for hire. Well, coming up, today is a day to celebrate somebody special in your life just because, plus a sneak peek of one of Netflix's biggest shows when we come back.
Welcome back. It's time to brighten someone's day.
That's because today is National Bring Flowers to Somebody Day. Aww. This is the day you don't need a built-in reason to bring flowers. She's running. Just gotta hurry up and get those flowers there. It's just because you can just bring somebody flowers. Today, you can put together a bouquet, pick one up, make a personalized delivery. If you can't do it yourself, order some flowers for delivery maybe. Other ways to celebrate the day: attend a flower arrangement class or plant a flower garden. I wish I had known this sooner, because then I would have gotten some.
Don't do what we had a kid in our neighborhood growing up who picked a bunch of flowers from the neighbor's yard and gave it to their mom. Like, that was very nice, but now you need to go over and apologize for picking all the flowers.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, in the meantime, dearest reader, we have some exciting news for you if you're a Bridgerton fan.
Yeah, you probably already saw it if you love the show. I know I did. did, but Netflix is sharing a sneak peek of the hit series. The newest clip from the next season of Bridgerton finds Benedict Bridgerton spotting the mysterious lady in silver, that's Sophie, at a masquerade ball. Season 4 of the Regency romance is due out next year, and Netflix also announced they're renewing the show for seasons 5 and 6. So we're going to get a lot more Bridgerton coming up here in the future. I know it's such a popular show.
You know, I started, and like so many shows, I don't finish them. I don't know why.
Go back and watch it. You'll love it.
I know. Everyone says, you gotta watch this.
Yes.
But I feel like actually I would like it.
So did you only watch the first season? Or part of the first season?
I didn't even get through a season. I watched
part of it?
2 episodes. I know. I'm bad.
Netflix always amazes me, talking about how they're building the new studios. You remember when Netflix first started, you were getting DVDs of movies in the mail that were probably 10 years old. And now, look at what Netflix does. You can watch it instantly, and they make their own shows.
Sometimes billions of people watching these shows. It's incredible to see the impact that
And
it
there's
has.
so much to choose from.
Yeah.
I think that's my problem. I just don't know where to start,
it.
you know? All right. Maybe I'll have some help someday. All right. Time now for our First Alert 6 team to prepare for our update in today's show. You can watch us while we work, but also you can watch that cut-in about to start in just momentarily. In the meantime, have a great start to your Thursday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good morning. The time now is 7:26 on this Thursday morning. I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update on traffic first with Jared Lansford.
And I've been watching the I-80 construction zone because we had a vehicle that had stalled in traffic and caused all sorts of backups. You can see things have improved quite a bit as we have seen that vehicle get towed away. Crews worked very quickly to address that situation, so kudos to them. And we're starting to see some improvement through this stretch as you're going westbound. Now, unfortunately, we do have delays that stretch almost to the 680 interchange, so you need to watch that. If you're going westbound, you're going to see some quick delays build as you're heading through that stretch. But hopefully we could continue to improve things as we go forward. It is really about that I-80 construction zone. A little slow on eastbound Dodge, but otherwise moving along pretty well in much of the metro. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. We had the potential for some storms last night. Those stayed to the northwest as expected for the most part, and you can see there's new developing to the northwest as well, and those are going to miss us too. Now we get the wind on the backside of this system. You can see the wind that's funneling in behind this, and we got gusts near 25 miles per hour already. Those are expected to pick up as the day goes along, 40 to 45 pretty easily out of the west-southwest. Could gust to 50 at times. Would not surprise me. The muggy meter, though, is going to take a dip. We're in the muggy range right now. That'll improve over the next couple of hours and into the afternoon. Looks like it's going to be a much better afternoon as far as humidity goes. But today, even with the cooler air trying to move in, I still think we can make it to 82 degrees for the afternoon high with quite a bit of sunshine, but a lot of wind. And now the wind is still a factor on Friday. We'll see it cool things off on Saturday down to 71. And then 78 on Sunday. Some storm chances back in play Sunday night. Aaron?
Some breaking news we are following. 2 people are in the hospital after a bad crash in western Douglas County. This happened near 264th and Dodge. Authorities say 2 people were hospitalized in serious condition. So far, no word about the cause. The time now 7:28. Back here on TV in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.